Hi, welcome. I'm going live. I never really go live on YouTube, so I'm excited to be here. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. Let me know in the comments below if you can hear me and everything sounds okay. I got a bunch of questions ahead of time, and they're so good. So I can't wait to just jump in and start answering them. But if you have a question at absolutely any time, you can just put a question mark so it kind of stands out from the other comments and ask your question. You can ask me anything. We're just chatting. Hey, Rogue Nerd. Hello, Tanya from Edmonton. Let me know what the weather's like there. It snowed here maybe 4 days ago. It was freezing, and now it's insanely beautiful, like almost hot outside. Canada in the spring is crazy pants, isn't it? It's so crazy. Hi, Jennifer from California. Hello, 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 everyone. Oh, there's so many of you here. Hi. So let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. Um, Blind guy, his wife and their life said, I have a question. Do you realize I've lived your channel for years? I don't, yeah, that's very sweet. Thank you so, so much. That's so sweet. Oh, Jessica, this is your first live with me. Hello, welcome. This is exciting. Hi, I was cleaning the house like a mad woman. I'm like all sweaty and everything. I was running around. I slept in. My mother's coming. There is nothing that motivates me to clean more than my mother coming. I grew up with a mom who was an absolute clean freak, spent all of her sorry, mom, she doesn't watch my channel, so it's fine, but spent all of her spare time cleaning like a mad woman. And I know that because I felt like her standards were so high and I sucked at being a naturally tidy and organized person, that I just gave up. And I'm like, I'm not being like my mother. People who clean all the time, that's what my mother's like. And I rebelled by just like living in a hovel for a really long time. So even now that I'm a grown woman, 43 years old, I get so anxious before my mom comes. Yeah, know what I'm saying? Anybody relate? Let me know if you can relate. Joanna says, you have a question. You're moving. Any suggestions for someone who is moving in the next 2 weeks? Well, congratulations on the move. That's amazing. I'm jealous. I would love to move. The thing I would say is you always start packing the things you use the least often. So pack up all your holiday decor, pack up your winter clothing if you live in this area, pack up books, you know you're not going to use those. Just leave the essentials like you're camping, and make sure that you label the side of your box or your tote, whatever you're using, what room you want the movers or whoever's helping you move it in, and what's inside. So you put bedroom and then slash like clothing or socks, underwear. So that way you don't end up with a bunch of boxes just piled in a living room in your new place. You want to make sure you put what room it's going into and then also what's inside. So I just put it like, you can do two, like you can do like red marker for what room it's going in and then black dashes for the type of stuff that it's inside. But you don't have to get like crazy. You can just say clothing. You don't have to like really get detailed, but it's helpful to definitely label what room you're in. Hello from Muskoka. Hello. That's amazing. Okay. I'm glad some of you guys can relate to your mom. If anyone else came over, I'd probably have some level of anxiety. I have a bit of I think imposter syndrome, so I'm supposed to be an organizing expert. So I feel like my house should be real tip-top shape before people come over. But I'm getting better in my old age, right? I know that it also puts pressure on people coming over if they see a space that feels unrealistically clean. So I'm like, nobody cares. I'm laid back. But when my mother's coming over, bring out the white glove. So, anyways, I was running around. I'm all sweaty. I'm feeling crazy. Okay. So, this is a really good question, though. Virginia asks, how do you stay focused when cleaning one room without ending up cleaning different rooms? This is a great question. I have ADHD and I used to clean. I'd go in the bathroom. There'd be a pile of dirty towels or dirty laundry. I'd pick that up. I'd go down to the laundry room. There's not enough laundry to start a load. I'd go to other rooms trying to find more laundry. I'd get distracted by something. And I didn't clean the bathroom or start a load of laundry or do anything else. Or, you know, it happens all the time. You're tidying, you get distracted by the thing because you leave the room. So this isn't for everyone, but I've learned with my ADHD, I have to have a dozen, like I have a tidy tote It can be a laundry basket. I have to put things that don't belong in the room in there so I can clean the whole room and then take the basket with me from room to room and then empty it where things go. So if I have the kids' toys in the living room, I don't put them in their room because as soon as I leave the living room, it's like squirrel syndrome. I don't know where I am or what's happening. So I need to use a tidy tote, and it can be a laundry basket, but the real secret is here is complete the cycle. So Peter Walsh always hammered home complete the cycle. You are not done until you're done. You wouldn't stop a load of laundry halfway through the rinse cycle and not let it spin out. That doesn't count as doing laundry. You're not done cleaning the room until you've put away everything in the tidy tote. And so I just really remind myself of this, and I empty that tidy tote after I'm done cleaning a space. And so that's like, otherwise you're left with a bunch of boxes or hampers or things just like your stuff shuffling, and you never actually get ahead. So that's awesome. Okay, so there's another question here that I love, love, love so much. And I get this question all the time. Jenna asked it, Creature Chasm has it. A bunch of you guys have asked this question. So basically, how do you get other people to let go? Because the worst thing you can do if you have a spouse who's a bit of a hoarder, or your kids, they have just too much stuff, you can't force someone else to declutter, and you can't declutter without them because that's such a violation. What happens if you get rid of things that belong to other people without their permission? They're going to hold on tighter, and they're going to become even worse hoarders. So this is a technique that I do with both clients, but also my own family, and it's really to teach people how decluttering isn't scary, but also to get them to get rid of things. So you just say to them, listen, I want to do this thing with you. I just want you to sit down. You have to do no work at all, nothing, zero work. You only have to say yes or no. I'll do all the work. And they're skeptical, but you just assure them, seriously, and anytime you want to stop, we'll stop. And anytime you say you don't want to let go of something, we're not letting it go. We're right. And you'll go to their closet or you'll go to somewhere and you'll just say, do you want this? And if they say yes, you don't say, are you sure? Or you don't judge. You just, okay, we'll keep that. What about this? Okay, we'll keep that. And what you're going to find is going to happen. I promise you, this works, especially in a closet or kids' toys or something like that. The first couple of things is like a yes, yes, yes. They're, even if they don't want it, they're going to say they do. And it's almost like they're testing you to see if you're going to judge. But then you're going to hold up something and they're going to say that can go. Right? They're gonna say, "Okay, that thing can go." And then you're like, "Awesome, this is amazing, you're doing so good. How about this? How about this?" And the more they get into it, they're like, "Yeah, that can go, that can go, that can go." And before you know it, you've purged all the crap that you wish they would declutter. They didn't have to do anything, but also everyone I've ever done this is like, "This is fun," and they see that decluttering isn't scary, and they really get into it, and you're getting rid of a lot of stuff from your house. So this is how you sort of get people to dip their toe in the decluttering water without shoving it down their throat, and teach people to really let go. Blind guy, that's so kind of you. You used to watch me on the Roku. I have like a Roku channel. Yeah, that's awesome. So you never comment. P.S. Is it fair to expect my husband to wipe the kitchen counter after, even if he can't see, or do some people get a pass? Okay, so he's blind. I feel like I don't know. This is such a hard question. Does he get a pass? Kind of. This is like the most uncomfortable situation ever because I don't know. Was he born blind and then therefore has adapted? Is this a recent thing where he's just sort of trying to navigate a whole new world? There's so many questions that you would really have to ask, and I am not an expert of this at all. But there is people, there's like the therapists that train people how to do things when they have a new disability. That would be a better person to ask. Way to just make me feel so uncomfortable. I don't know. My own husband doesn't wipe the counter. He's not blind. And sometimes I feel like the more I nag, the more resentful he got and the less that he did. And so I had to sort of tell myself, not everyone has the same level of clean that I everybody has a different clutter threshold too. And I can't expect that my family is going to put the same level of importance that I do on clean. So if they're doing the bare minimum, if they're at least picking up after themselves and putting the dishes in the dishwasher, I zip my lip about crumbs on the kitchen counter or toothpaste smeared in the bathroom. I pick my battles. And it just makes for a better relationship. Carolyn says, do I do mentoring starting a decluttering business? I don't do one-on-one mentoring, but I do have a course. Not that this is a shameless plug, but I do have an organizing course where we go live every Wednesday night and I answer all of your questions and I give business advice and we talk about how to start a business in that course. So if you have questions, we go live in that course and I answer all of your questions there and I give you like a bunch of resources for starting a business. But I really think people overthink starting an organizing business. All you need is a passion and a want to help people. And that's it. You don't need a certification. You don't need any of this fancy stuff that people try to sell you. You can literally do this tomorrow. Put an ad on Facebook Marketplace, reach out to friends and family, let them know that you want to do this. Maybe start a Facebook business page that's free and just put yourself out there. Let the world know that you're here to offer help. And when you get a client, go there and help them. I think it's one of the easiest businesses to start. It's just hard, like it is to start anything. It's hard to have the confidence to put yourself out there, which leads me to another question that I get asked all the time, which is, I feel overwhelmed. Where do I start? My house is a disaster. I don't know where to start. Help me. And what this is really coming down to is somebody wants me to give them step-by-step instructions. And when you want a full fail-proof plan, step-by-step instructions, what you're really wanting is to avoid the pain of failure. You don't want to make a mistake. You're scared. You have a bit of perfectionism in you. And this sometimes can really just be sort of an excuse to avoid the anxiety that comes with making a mistake. So I'm here to tell you there's no perfect plan because everybody has different home, a different space, different stuff, and you are the expert of your home and yourself and your stuff. And so, as scary as it is, the best way to start organizing is to just pick something and dive in. And it doesn't matter if you've made a mistake. There's no wrong way to organize and declutter. You could probably set up a system maybe that doesn't work for you and you have to do it again, but you've just learned more about yourself. You have more self-awareness. You haven't made a mistake. You haven't failed. Now you just have the tools. You know what doesn't work, so you can try again. And I think understanding your organizing style is important so we don't waste money on products that we know that don't work for us. But there isn't a perfect organizing system that's going to magically stay clean and solve your problems. You can't buy your way out of clutter. You can't, it just taking care of a house takes work sometimes and it kind of sucks, but we can definitely make it easier. Okay, so hi, Shaylin. You say, will you come to my house and help me? You're mostly kind of joking, but it's so hard for you to take time to organize your mess with 3 little kids underfoot and no help. I get you. If you have 3 little kids, I hate to say it, but honestly, the mess can wait. I wouldn't take on any huge projects. The best thing you can do is just have less. Decluttering's fast, it's easy, it's free. Sometimes it can even make you some money and it can just make life easier. And you don't have to be a minimalist. You just have to look around and say, what are we not using? What are we not loving? But know that it's probably not the stuff you see. The clutter that's on the floor, the clutter that's on your surfaces, that's good stuff that you're using. That's why it's out. And it's probably out because it doesn't have an easy place for you to like put it away, because all the stuff you're not using and loving is in your drawers and in your cabinets and in your closets and in your storage, right? So we're in a different season. We change. We have to let go just as often as we get new things. And that's something that, why didn't we learn this in school? Why is this not like a life skill that everybody teaches us? We sort of are thrust into adulthood we really don't know what we're doing. And now we're supposed to be in charge of other people and a house and make money and pay our taxes. And it's all pretty crazy because let's be honest, we're all just teenagers in old people's bodies. And so when I first kind of started managing a house, I'm like, why is this so hard? Because I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know the skills. And the truth is, the average home should declutter 30 big trash bag full of things a year. That's just to maintain, not like you have a clutter problem, just to maintain a tidy home is 30 trash bags. I know in the beginning I wasn't getting rid of any. So after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, imagine 20 years, you have acquired so much. And that's for people maybe who don't have a shopping problem like I have a shopping problem a little bit. I have a little bit of an Amazon thing. So my point here is we have too much. We have too much. Okay, I see a question and I love this question so much. Wait, here it is. Lizzie, Lego storage for a butterfly boy. Love this. Obviously going with clear, not sorting your Lego by lots of different colors, but I also like some really easy things for loose Lego. So if they have Lego sets that they've built and they want to display, you're going to have to get open shelving for that. But if it's just loose Lego, you can do a big clear bin that's labeled Lego and then glue on the top of the bin some of those big Lego sheets so he can actually use that to build. And then when he's done, he can dump it back into the big bin. I also really like those drawstring bags for butterflies. So it isn't visual, but you can put the bag on a hook and then spread it out when he wants to play and then pull the drawstring when he's done. So we do that for Milo's room. For Abby's room, what we did is got a big piece of wood from the store because she had space under her bed. We put some inexpensive casters on the bottom of wood, and we have it looks like a drawer basically. And then we lined the whole bottom with inexpensive flat Lego sheets so she could build and have all of her things displayed under there, but slide it under the bed when she's not using it. So when it's out, it's super visual, but cleaning it up is just kicking it under the bed. So if you have space under your bed, that's a really great option. Otherwise, the drawstring bags are great. But if your Lego lover wants to display the creations, you've got to go with open shelving. And I'm going to recommend the Calyx shelf from IKEA because it gives you the opportunity to get rid of the dresser, use the bottom shelving for bins for clothing. So you can have all the clothing, the same amount of space or more as a dresser. And all the upper cubes you can use to display Lego. So can't go wrong with that. Okay, so if you guys have a question, I'm here. I'm seeing all your Lego clear and flat, way less digging. Yeah, there's also a lot of clear bins that you can get that slide under the bed that have wheels so you don't even have to put casters on it, right? Under the bed storage is just really, really great. And you can get them clear for Lego. It's not deep and you can slide it away. So if they're not fully done a project, they've started building it, but they're not completely done, just slide it under the bed. And then they can slide it out again when they want to work on it. Yeah, D's like cube storage all day, every day. Yes, I totally agree. I think little kids' bedrooms, they should ditch the dresser. If I could go back in time, I never would have bought my kid. And sometimes you spend so much money on expensive bedroom sets for kids, and dressers just don't work for little kids. You have to be the one to put the clothes away. They're rooting around for the shirt they want, and everything you folded is now just a jumbled mess. It's crazy. It's bananas. And also, it doesn't give you enough storage. Kids like to see their stuff. So if you go with a big cube unit like this instead of a dresser, it takes up the same floor space that a dresser does. And you can use the bottom, all the bottom, or these for clothing and toys. And then the upper ones you use for display. That is what totally works. Aw, thank you. Is it Dr. Iris? Dr. Iris says, "You're so proud of me." Thank you. How did you discover your love of organizing? Was it a slow process or a click? And when did you realize you wanted to start selling these organizing talents? This is such a cool question. I'm gonna answer that in one question, but I'm gonna answer A, B's first because it's going past. Tips on how to get into the grow? What does this mean? I spent 1 month, 2.5 hours per day going through your late father's and mother's stuff plus childhood stuff. Tips on how to get back, like back into the grow? Do you mean like groove? You worked really hard. 1 month. You spent 2 to 5 hours every day for a whole month going through your late father's stuff. Now you have all the boxes and stuff all over and you feel drained. Okay, you need a pep talk. You need a pep talk. You're a lady fly. So you're overwhelmed. You've got too much. You listen, you got to let go of some of this pressure you're putting on yourself. They probably had a ton of stuff. You're doing a good job. Take a break, take a breather. If you were working that hard for that long, you're burnt out. That is completely normal. I would put some lower expectations on yourself. Can you do a box every 2 days? Can you do a box one day and take a break one day? A box one day and take a break one day? You're going to get this done. You feel drained. You should feel drained. Okay, now I'm gonna go and ask, how did I discover my love of organizing? Because I love this question so much. So I was really messy my whole life. Not just messy, but dirty dishes hidden in the oven kind of messy, and in my cabinets kind of messy. Path from the door to my bed kind of messy. And then I met Joe, and it was really embarrassing. He was cleaning my space for me while we were dating, and it stunk, and I had a huge 6-foot lizard that would, like, wander over my clothes and sometimes just crap in places. I'm embarrassed to say this, but the point is I was disgusting. And, then we got married and then had children, and I was still messy, but a closeted mess. So I was a full ladybug. I would just shove things in all the hidden areas, and I would every day have to hunt for things, pull things out, dig around, missing. Oh, it was a nightmare. And I started watching Peter Walsh's Clean Sweep on TLC. I had a bunch of kids. I was had some daycare kids, and his words just struck me. Right? I was motivated to try again. And I had tried to get organized in the past. I tried Joe set up filing systems for me, and he had organized the bathroom in like lots of little stacked containers, and I would get an aspirin and I would chuck it at the containers. And I felt so lazy. And we fought about this because I think he thought I was being disrespectful. I would pay a bill and I would never put it in the filing system that he had set up. I would just shove it in a drawer. And he felt so disrespected. So, anyways, I went to the dollar store to try again, and I got a bunch of dish pans, and I came back and I dumped out all the stuff that Joe had sorted really detailed in our bathroom because I'm not opening a lid to put the aspirin away. And I just have like medicine. And then I had extra products. He had it sorted by like, toothpaste was together and all our extra toothbrushes and all our extra shampoos. And I'm like, I would go to the store and I'd buy toothpaste and I'd just shove it at the containers, and it was all messy around his storage system. So I used these dish pans, big categories like extra products, and I was putting things away in a laid back, less organized approach. He didn't love it, but it wasn't a mess anymore. And we could find things because I didn't have things hidden in every closet, every drawer, every it would be a hunt. Where's the bill that has to be paid? I don't know. Cass hid it somewhere. It's looking around because I was cleaning. You know what I mean? And it didn't have a place to go that was easy for me to put away. So I just shoved it anywhere to get it out of sight. And it started working. My whole house started getting clean again and getting organized and staying that way. And I felt a high that I had never felt before. And I had done some things in my teen years, but this was like, I felt so proud of myself. I felt like I'm not stupid. I'm not lazy. I'm not messy. I just needed to like chill a little bit with my organizing system. And it was that confidence that I think made me keep going. Every time I did a drawer, I was like, yeah, look at that. Instant satisfaction. I'm definitely an impulsive, instant satisfaction person. And you get that from organizing. You can organize one cabinet and get immediate gratification. Like, look at I did that. It looks awesome. And be really proud of yourself. And how is that not addicting? That is so addicting. So I started helping friends and family, and I was talking about organizing constantly, and I was obsessed with it, and Joe bought me a little flip camera and said, "Why don't you just talk about organizing to someone that isn't me and post it on YouTube?" And this is back when, like, YouTube just started, and so that's what I did, and it just grew. I never thought that this would be a paying business. That's insanity. Um, I think I did YouTube for 5 years before somebody said, "How much money are you making?" And I was like, "You can make money from YouTube?" Like, I'm stupid, okay? I didn't even look into that. And yeah, so it all the rest is, I guess, history. It's turned into what it is now, and I'm still just I feel like I'm still a stay-at-home mom, kinda doing this from my basement for fun. But what a cool career that is to make a living, to be able to do this. Um, Diana says, "Will I be doing Zoom organizing with people again to help someone organize a room?" Yeah, I will be doing another advice series coming up, and I'll make sure I announce that before I do it and give you the email address where you can submit photos, and we'll be picking random people for coaching. I'm just really busy right now. That's why I haven't done it, but I will be doing that again, so stay tuned for that. Diana's like, I know, you're like, "Pick me." You know you're doing the work, right? I'm just holding you slightly accountable. The truth is, listen, you don't need me. You have all the tools, all the knowledge. You just need the confidence. Just like I said, that's what I was really lacking, why I wasn't getting my home organized. I didn't trust myself. And you don't trust yourself either. You don't trust yourself to declutter because what if you make a mistake? You don't trust yourself to set up a system because what if I do it wrong and I've wasted time? And the truth is, fear and anxiety is normal. That's normal to feel uncomfortable and feel like scared to try something because you might fail. But the being brave means you're scared and you're doing it anyway. So I really want to challenge you to try again. When I help people virtually, when I coach people to declutter, I'm just saying to them, today's the day, grab a trash bag. Texted me. Sorry, grab it. My mom's texting me and it's Peter from, it doesn't matter. Anyways, I'm like, grab a trash bag and let's find 21 things right now that can go. Come on, let's hunt. Let's do this together. You're doing all the work. You're deciding what goes and what stays. You're deciding where things get put when you're done. I'm just there cheering you on, and you can do that without me. Mas K, thank you. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Um, okay, YS Keller, what part of your work do I like the best? One-on-one, writing books, doing videos, or something else? You want to declutter so you can become a writer. Yeah, that's a really good question. I think the part I like the best is working with clients or even virtually working with clients and seeing the transformation. Because if you're struggling, like I say this all the time, but it's true. If you're struggling with clutter and disorganization, it's not that you're messy. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you're dumb. It's that you don't trust yourself. You don't have the confidence. Confidence is key. And that pride we feel in ourselves when we do a good job is what motivates us to actually keep going. And so if you are struggling, it's because you don't trust yourself. And so when I'm helping people, I'm really coaching them and showing them, I'm like, just, you're doing an awesome job. Look what you did. And I'm teaching them to trust themselves and to have confidence in themselves. And I know that it's going to affect every single other area of your life. Getting organized isn't about your house. Having a tidy home doesn't matter. It's not about your house. It's about you, like, being really confident and proud and know that you're capable and know that you got this and know that you're in control of your life. And once you start feeling that, your home is your foundation. When you can start managing that, your finances start working out magically. Your relationships start working out. You're happier. It's like everything else falls into place because you got the basics. And I think we overcomplicate it, and that's why it feels so hard and we're so scared to try again. We think this is gonna take forever. This is so much work. I don't know where to start. I'm overwhelmed, and we're looking at the big picture and we're terrified. But the truth is it starts with just letting stuff go. And it doesn't and every time I say this to someone who is scared, they say, but this stuff is important to me, and they start sort of like hyperventilating and getting anxiety. But I don't, what if I have to spend money again? What if I We're not talking about that stuff. Is there trash you can let go of? Is there expired food? Is there expired medicine? Let's like scale it back. Let's start with easy things. We don't have to declutter sentimental things. We don't have to declutter expensive things. We don't have to make decisions on everything. We just have to say yes and no to some things. And when that's, as a coach, what really professional organizers help you do is just to build up your confidence so you can do it on your own. Mask up. Why is it that you can declutter when someone else is here, but by yourself you won't do it? You don't have friends or family over due to everyone's busy schedule, so you need to figure out how to do it yourself. This is really common too. I think if you ever read The Four Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin, you're probably an obliger, and I'm an obliger too. And so an obliger has no problem meeting other people's expectations, but they have a really hard time meeting their own. So if someone else says to them, "Hey, we're going to the gym on Friday, I'll pick you up," they're going to the gym on Friday, even though they don't want to. But if they tell themselves, "I'm going to the gym on Friday," they'll never go. It's having someone else to hold you accountable, and that's really normal. I really recommend you go to the library and get the book, The Four Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin. Just skip to the obliger part because she gives you a lot of tips on how to overcome this. So you can do things like, a friend doesn't have to come over. You can take a before picture, send it to a friend, and say, "I'm going to send you the after picture in 2 hours," or post it online. We have a lot of free Facebook groups. We have like one called Organizing Advice from Clutterbugs. This is great to hold you accountable. Post a before picture and then hold that stranger group accountable for you to post the after picture. Nobody knows who you are. Don't feel judged. We're all in this together. But that's something that can really help obligers step up for themselves and show up for themselves because they're really showing up for other people. A blind guy, his wife in their life says, "Have you ever helped organize plants? Someone gave you a bunch of plants with soil for indoor growing." I have never organized plants, but plants are like people's babies, man. There are people who are really into plants, but I think it's the same as organizing anything else. It's zoning it. So, where do these plants live? What's the home? Is it a shelf? And that's your container. And you can only keep what reasonably fits in that container, which means you might have to let some go and you pick your favorites, but that's not the end of the world. Your home is a container, your furniture is a container, and we can only keep what reasonably fits. Your surfaces, the pile in the corner, your spare bedroom, that doesn't count. So it's helpful to look at things that way and then let the container be the bad guy of what you can keep and what you can't. How can I get rid of items that have our full name engraved or printed? Duplicate Bibles and other items. Oh, this is so hard because what you're saying to me is I don't want to keep them, but I don't want to donate them because you have your full name on it. So if it's an engraving plate, that's awesome. Like a trophy or something, you just peel the plate off, throw it out, and you can donate the item. If it's something that's metal and it's really engraved, I get for like reasons that you don't want to donate and I want to say to throw it out, but it's a Bible. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you putting me under this pressure? My gut says you don't want to keep it, let it go, and you forgive yourself. And it really isn't the end of the world. And it's only going to hurt and be uncomfortable and make you feel a little sick for a second. And you're never going to think of that item again. And if it's taking up space in your home and you're just shuffling it from spot to spot, and every time you look at it, you think, "I wish I didn't have this," it can go. I'm giving you permission to just say goodbye and let it go and move on because you're worth more. Your happiness, your peace of mind, your space, your home, it's worth more than any of the crap that you have in your house. You are more important. And we let our stuff pressure us. And it causes us to be so miserable. We're like, well, I bought that thing, so therefore I'm going to have to hate it for all of eternity and feel guilty for buying it every time I look at it. No, that's nonsense. That's crazy. Let's stand up for ourselves. Let's put boundaries. Let's have the self-respect to say, I'm more important and this is going. I don't care how much it was. I don't care who gave it to me. Those are not the decluttering questions we ask ourselves. Am I going to feel guilty for letting it go? None of that matters. What matters is, do I use it? Do I love it? Do I want it in my home? And if the answer is no, we have the self-respect to say bye, 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 bye. I'm not saying this is easy. It feels so uncomfortable. But it's supposed to feel uncomfortable. Like standing up for yourself, personal growth is uncomfortable. It feels like, ooh, wrong until we've done it and then we're proud of ourselves. And then every time we keep doing it, it gets a little easier and we grow as people and we improve our lives. We level up, as I like to say. Joy says, I'm a big Bible person, but the physical paper isn't sacred. The paper can be recycled. Thank you for saying this. Or maybe just cut out the engraved part. I mean, I love that you say that. Yeah, because let's just move on. Let's just move on. And we're in a different phase of our life, and that's okay. And let's let go. Okay, I'm going to see if there's other questions here. Will there be any more Hot Mess House seasons added to HGTV? Unfortunately not. So we did just get the news that HGTV is not going to be renewed for another season. And I'm sad about it, but also not 100% sad about it. I feel rejected. It hurts to be rejected. It hurts for somebody to say, kind of like, you weren't good enough. But at the other side of that is, I would rather do YouTube. And I would rather be home with my family than do the show. And I was really resentful the whole time I was doing the show. I loved helping people, but I was away. I lived in the States for 6 months. I missed my family. I missed my dog. I missed my kids because they weren't with me the entire time. And it was so much work. It was a pay cut, believe it or not. And I felt like I just want to go back to my old life. So what a cool opportunity. I felt really validated that I even had the opportunity. I'm so proud of myself that that happened. And I'm sad that it came to an end. But it also wasn't the worst thing. And I have an agent, and we're in the talks of maybe something on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Apple TV in the future. I don't know though. Like I'm so insecure. TV's really stressful. But even if I was to do something again, it wouldn't be the same way. It wouldn't be construction. I didn't want that at all. I wanted just real life organizing, like real life organizing. And I know HGTV thought that that was too boring. They want big reveals and big makeovers, and that's what people want. But I wanted emotion. I wanted to show how hard it is to let go and how good it feels when it's done. I wanted more of the emotional talking part. And that's maybe in the future, if we find somebody who wants to make a show like that, then I would be happy to do that again. I think. Or maybe not. I don't know. Okay. I'm fickle. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, Angie, thanks for hosting a question and answer. Love your approach and relatability. How do you deal with reselling clutter? We have an eBay business and it feels like it's everywhere. So I do think it's really important to try selling things, but I want to really caution you. I'm only going to say that I don't know you and your situation might be different, but I want to give you some tough love just for a second. I've had a lot of clients who started eBay businesses or started selling things online because the truth was they love the thrill of the hunt. They love finding the stuff and what they were filling their own home. So then they thought, well, I'll start a business so I can still have that thrill of finding these treasures, but then I'm going to resell it. But what happened was they weren't selling things even close to the rate that they were bringing it in, and they were justifying the finding because they were going to sell it. And so before you know it, they had filled their home. And yes, they were making some money, but they were spending far more. And it was really came down to the thrill of the hunt, which really comes down to addiction. And so I want you to ask yourself, are you doing this business because it is a viable business that you're actually enjoying and you're actually making money? Or are you doing this as an excuse to feed that thrill of the hunt? Any addiction, even if it makes us money, if we're doing it for the wrong reasons, isn't healthy. And so that would be my advice to you. I would challenge you to see if you're not sure, I would say go 30 days without acquiring anything and just sell the current inventory you have. And if you can go 30 days without acquiring, even if it's free, it's a dumpster dive, you're driving down the road. If you can resist stopping and picking it up, and you can resist going to thrift stores and resist going to auctions for 30 days without a struggle and just sell the inventory that you have, you're probably doing it from a business way standpoint. If you're really struggling for 30 days and you're jonesing to go out and acquire more, it's probably coming from an addiction standpoint. And that's something I would look into for sure. Hi, hello, thank you so much. It's Kenda. Love you so much. They don't deserve you. Thank you. Either way, goal accomplished. Forever proud of you, Cass. Thank you so much. You know, the thing I was the saddest about is so I have this ridiculous vision board that I made in 2018. And I put on the vision board that I wanted to buy a big house, which didn't happen. But I also wanted a show on HGTV. I wanted a partnership with the Container Store. I wanted to lose 100 pounds. I wanted to do all these things. Almost everything came true. I'm training for a 5K right now. I go to the gym 3 times a week. Thank you very much. I'm very proud of myself. And but I also put an Emmy on there. So I got the HGTV show. I got the partnership with the Container Store. I didn't get the big house, but um, you know, that could happen one day, but I'll never get an Emmy now. I wanted not me to get an Emmy, but the show to get an Emmy. It was such a ridiculously bananas thing to put, but all of these things at the time seemed huge, right? Like so ridiculous, would never happen. And then when some of them started to happen, I was like, maybe the Emmy will happen. So I think that's the part that bothers me most about the show is that I'm never getting that Emmy now. I'm gonna buy a replica or something, and just then I technically got all the things on my vision board, even though it's a little cheat. Um, Oats, how can I make myself do the action file stuff? You know you need to, but you're stuck. So, this is a question I get asked all the time. It's paper management. And people are looking for a system in an action file or a Sunday basket. Some people call it the Sunday basket. Organized 365 calls it that. It does really, I mean, it works. It gives you a place for your paper that you have to deal with. But the other side of that is you have to deal with it. So organization is only half of the equation. You have to have the right organizing system, but then you also have to have the habit to use it. And that's the harder part. So what I would recommend is setting an appointment with yourself every single day, one day a week, the same exact time to spend 15 minutes to empty your action file. Completely empty it. Deal with all the paper, pay the bills, take action, sign the things, mail something away, whatever it is that you have to do, deal with it, empty it, and then make yourself do it every single week. Having alarms on your phone is magical. My entire house nags me all day long. My phone sends me alerts to remind me to do all the things that are put in here to remind me. My Alexas, I hope you don't have one. Sorry if she's making noise right now, but reminds me all throughout the day, it's time to do this. And I'm like, stop nagging me, thing that doesn't have a name. Super irritating. But also, I'm way more likely to actually do things because I forget to remember. Habits, especially new habits, are so hard because we're in the habit of not doing, we're in the habit of being messy. We're in the habit of not dealing with our paperwork. We're in the habit of putting something down instead of putting it away. And we have to train our brain to do things differently. And so auditory alarms remind us to remember. Oh, yeah, I got to do this. And sometimes we'll snooze it. Sometimes we won't do it, but we're way more likely to do it a lot more often when we have that alarm. Um, what if 15 minutes doesn't empty it? Okay, so 15 minutes might not empty it the first time because you probably have a couple of weeks worth of stuff piling up. And if your action file can't be emptied in 15 minutes, you're not just putting important documents in there. You're not just putting bills that need to be paid. You're also putting reference paper in there. Maybe you're putting in catalogs or receipts, or you're putting in, I don't know, like a recipe you've printed off that you want to try. Those things aren't action, those are reference, and you need a different container for your reference type papers. Action is bills that need to be paid, things that need to be signed, things that have to be sent back immediately. So if you haven't done these action things in a week, a couple of weeks, yeah, it's going to take you longer than 15 minutes, but only the first week. And then you've caught back up, and then every week after that it's quick. But if you're filling your action file with things that are also reference, um that's a mistake. You have to have a separate folder for reference and let the container be the bad guy. It could be a basket. When it starts getting full, you're like, oh, I have to go through the reference and let go of anything that I no longer need to keep or that isn't relevant anymore. Aw, Thoughtquake, thank you so much. Been watching you since your early days. It's so fun watching your journey. Thanks from a cricket. Well, thank you so much for your support. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. 808 Blessed One says, how to sort all kind of receipts. I really want to challenge you right now to say, what kind of receipts are you keeping? If you run a home-based business, then you're going to have to keep some of your receipts that are tax write-offs. And I just recommend putting those in your short-term box and dealing with those at tax time. But if you're keeping receipts every time you go to the grocery store, if you're keeping receipts for things that you purchase like gas, and again, you're not using it as a tax write-off, these receipts don't need to be kept. Why are you keeping them? I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a client's home and they just have buttloads and buttloads and buttloads of receipts. And so you can have a reference folder. This is where I put receipts of things I might want to return. This is where I put catalogs, coupons, things I might want to deal with. It's in my reference folder. And then when it starts to get full, I go through and empty it. I don't get another reference folder. So I let the container be the cue of like, oh, it's starting to get a little overflowing. And you can even set a reminder and empty your reference folder every week or every 2 weeks. But again, if you have a business and you need these receipts for business write-offs at the end, or if they're medical receipts and you're going to use those for your taxes, anything you use for your taxes, have a separate spot for that. So I just pop everything in my short-term right here. I throw everything in there that I think I might need for my taxes. And then at tax time, I dump it all out. I sort it and I shred anything that I don't need at that time. So I only have to deal with that kind of paperwork one day a year. And it's awesome because I'm lazy. I smell of poo. I really like your name there. Question: may you ask what products you use for cleaning your toilet? It's been really dirty and there has been no progress at all. Okay, so I clean my toilet every day, which I know is really weird, but I wipe down the bathroom counters every night before bed and I just spray multi-purpose cleaner and do a little swoosh. So it never gets to the point where it's really, really bad. If your toilet just seems to get really dirty really fast, it may be that it's kind of clogged with hard water, lime scale. So maybe it's not getting enough water flow. You can try putting one of those toilet cleaning tabs in the back of your tank. I've even seen people take a big container of Fabuloso and they poke a hole in it and they stick that whole container into the back of their toilet tank. So it's slowly giving you cleaner every time you flush. That's a really inexpensive way to do it. if you're not the person who's going to sort of clean it on a regular basis. Now, if it's already dirty, this isn't going to clean it. This is maintenance mode. So you have to give it a really good scrub. You're probably going to have to use bleach spray, and then you can try using a cleaner in the back. If you have somebody in your home who has diabetes, you will find, maybe this is TMI, but that your toilet is getting a lot more dirty. It's getting like a black type thing on it. And that's just because I think, I don't know, really, I think it's sugar in the urine actually causes like an increase of mold and bacteria that can grow inside a toilet bowl, and it's really harder to clean because of that. So again, putting something in the back of the toilet, so every time you're flush, it's washing away that sugar and washing away that, is this TMI? It probably is TMI. But yeah, so that's something you can do. But I personally don't do that. I just spray and swoosh the toilet brush, but I do it every single night before bed as part of my nighttime cleaning routine. I am not a freak who spends my entire nighttime cleaning routine is wiping down the kitchen counters, tidying the bathrooms, wiping down the counters in the toilet, all three of my bathrooms, and sometimes even doing a quick spray mop, and it's 15 minutes. It's nothing because the dishes are already done, the laundry's already done, and it's not that bad because I do it every day. Jessica says it's the extra excess protein. Thank you. I didn't know why, but I did know this was a thing. Yes. If you have a diabetic in the household. Um, do I have any? Oh, Dazzle Dust. I love your name. 32 says, do you have any simple, effective recipes for making your own general purpose cleaners? Yeah, I have a ton of recipes online. Melissa Maker from Clean My Space has great recipes too. Personally, I love anything that has rubbing alcohol and like a little bit of Dawn dish soap. I just find that takes everything off. So you can mix rubbing alcohol with a little dish soap and distilled water or just regular water, and that will get a ton of stuff clean. I really like using that, especially if you're just using straight up rubbing alcohol on glass. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Now, it does have a tendency to dry out wood, so I wouldn't use it on wood furniture. I would just go with like a little bit of Dawn dish soap and warm water is miracle. It cleans so much. It's pretty awesome. And vinegar, the same thing. But vinegar, as much as I love it, you shouldn't use it on any stone surfaces. So because it's an acid, so it can eat away your finish. If you've ground granite or marble countertops or that type of thing, I wouldn't recommend using a vinegar cleaner. Oh, thank you so much. I don't want to mispronounce your name. Is it Sar? The Emmy will happen. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but that's okay. You never know. I mean, miracles can happen. Either way, I'm just gonna buy my own. Paula Crawford. Thank you. That's crazy pants, bananas. Thank you so much. That's so, so kind of you. I really appreciate that. You guys are so supportive. I mean, I say this all the time, but you're so supportive. Okay. Jennifer says paper clutter storage if you're a cricketish ladybug. So I do love a couple of, oh, I'm sorry, baby. I ran over my dog. He's all right. I do it every day. I am so sorry. So I have a couple of systems that I actually really love for like action folders or reference or papers like that. And it's these accordion file folders because it's pretty and it hides away our paper, which we love. But also, you can get really detailed for your Cricut, or you can just drop it in if you're a ladybug and have generalized categories. This is a really cool option too. These are big soap boxes. You can get these from the Container Store. Amazon sells them. They're pretty and they hold regular file folders like this, or you can just shove it in a box like this without having any dividers, because the magic of this is January, February, March, April, you're kind of sorting just by tossing it in a bigger box. So any of like a box like this is great for paperwork. Don't overthink it. If you are not a person who's really into filing, you're like, ain't nobody got time to put the electricity bill in the electricity, folder. Toss it in a bin and deal with it at tax time. But the secret here is you don't need to keep these things forever. Don't put them in a filing cabinet. Don't put paid bills and monthly statements in a filing cabinet because they'll stay there for 10 years. These things only don't even really need to be kept at all, but only need to be kept for a short amount of time. You can see at tax time if you need them for a tax write off. If not, you can shred them then. So you only have to dispose of and sort your paperwork one day a year. Um, huh. Okay. Auburn Jackson says, do you have any advice for situations where family members won't let you give away items from a loved one who has passed away? So is the family member living in your house, or is this somebody like your mother won't let you get rid of your grandmother's things, but they don't really want to hold on to them, but they don't want you to get rid of them? So it's a difficult situation. If it's your spouse and it's his parents and he doesn't want to let these things go, we can't possibly make them because that's by extension his things and his memories. So we give him a memory bin or multiple memory bins, and we really encourage them to just keep the things that will fit in the container. If this is things that it's another family member who is pressuring you to keep things, but they don't want them, and you don't want them either, this is about standing up for yourself and boundaries. That's an awful thing for them to do, to put pressure on you to hold on to something because they feel like it's, you know what I'm saying? My mother-in-law, I love her so much. She's amazing. But when my son was born, she brought over 7 totes of Joe's old baby clothes, ripped, stained. She didn't want them in her house anymore, but she didn't want me to let them go. They were still special enough to her that she wanted them to stay in the family, but not special enough that they took up her storage space. And so don't let other people bully you into keeping things you don't want. That's their own mess and anxiety and stress. You don't have to let it leak on you. Get an umbrella, keep it off, and stand up for yourself and put boundaries on yourself. And it's hard. I know it's so hard. And guilty clutter is one of the hardest things to let go of, but it's also the most empowering thing because we're finally saying, I'm not going to people please my stuff. I'm not going to let things or people take advantage of me. I'm certainly not going to let junk I bought from Walmart bully me. And I'm not going to people please it and keep it in my home because my home is an extension of myself and it should only be filled with things I use and like. End stop. End stop. And so this is such an amazing thing. When we declutter, it's not just about letting go, it's about discovering who we are today. It's about standing up for ourselves. It's about putting boundaries on our life and our home. And it's awkward and uncomfortable. And you're probably going to cry and you're going to feel bad, but you're going to trust yourself that you know what's best for you. And it's time. It's time to say no. No, I'm not going to let this stuff bully me, pressure me, take advantage of me, and make me feel bad anymore. Because every time we look at stuff in our home that we don't want or need, every time we can't put something away because our house is full, every time we're stuck on this tidying cycle, we tidy and it just gets messy again. It's because we have too much. And it's time that we stand up and say, no, I deserve a life that's easy. I deserve a home that's easy to maintain. You deserve that. And what's standing in between you and that home that just is easy to maintain is junk that you don't even like and don't even want. That's it. That's all you have to do is trade the stuff you don't want and you're not using, trade it for a home that stays tidy. If somebody could wave a magic wand and do that for you, you'd say, yep, heck yeah, take all the stuff I don't use and like. But that is what it is. You have the ability to wave that magic wand. We just have to look at it in a different light. Okay, we're gonna answer 2 more questions here. Oh, thank you. I like this dress too. Thank you so much. Um, I always thought I was a great organizer, but I could never maintain the system. You realize you were organizing like a cricket, but you're a ladybug. Would love to hear your take on that. Yeah, I mean, that's why I really failed a lot in my when I first married Joe. He's a cricket and he would set up really detailed systems because he's just naturally organized. He does pile till later, but when he does set up a system, it's insane. And then I was in charge of paying the bills, and he had set up the payment system, and he was always so angry at me, like, "Where's that bill? Where's this? Where'd you put that? Why would you shove it here?" "Thank you, Claire. Thank you so much." And I felt not only messy and lazy, but I felt stupid for not being able to maintain it. And it wasn't until I did a more laid back approach, now we throw it in a box and we call it a day and it's fine, that I started feeling really empowered. I started feeling like I'm not messy. I just organize differently. There's nothing wrong with me. I just don't do it the way Joe does. My brain doesn't work like that. When I'm done with something, my brain has already moved on. When I pay a bill, boom, boop, moving on to something else. I don't think about where to put that. It isn't like I'm consciously saying, "Oh, that's too much effort. I don't want to put that away." That's not what's happening. It's that I literally have moved on. And so I need a system that lets me just move on and be able to, just as easy as tossing it down, putting it down, catches the clutter. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is still organization. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look like the home edit. You can create your own organizing system. The only thing that matters is that you know where things are when you need to find them and that you can put them away easily. That's it. That's all it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. It doesn't matter if the bins match. It doesn't even matter if you have containers. It doesn't matter if it's super lined up. It doesn't matter if it's color coordinated. None of that matters. What matters is it's functional for you. That's it. That's all that matters. And when you finally sort of get that, you have so much more respect for yourself and you start getting more confidence in your ability. So you start wanting a tidier home, not just wanting it like, oh, that would be nice, but like, I can do this, want it. Like, I want to maintain this. I want to actually put things away, right? Not like, ooh, it would be, but want in your core, in your being. You change the way you think about yourself in your home. You feel motivated. And that really comes from knowing yourself. And it comes from giving yourself permission to not copy other people and having the courage to try again. If you've tried and you failed, if you're looking around your house, you're like, this is overwhelming. It's way too much stuff. Have the courage to try again. But this time, I'm going to do it. This time, I'm not going to do it in one day, but it didn't get messy in one day. I'm going to do one pile, one drawer, one trash bag at a time. And it's magical because you start feeling really freaking good about yourself. And that feeling makes you do it again tomorrow because you want to feel good about yourself again tomorrow. And we turn the blinders off from all the people and the like, you're never gonna, what are you doing that for? And blah, blah. Nope. This is for me. I'm doing this for me because I deserve it. And I deserve to have my home under control. And more than that, I deserve to feel really good about myself and really proud of myself. Okay. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I just really appreciate your time so much. I hope you guys have a amazing weekend and I hope you take some time this weekend to look at your home like self-care. Maybe fill a bag of things that you can donate. Maybe tidy your bathroom and put some Fabuloso in your toilet. I don't know. Do something. Change your mindset and look at it in a different way, knowing that this is really a gift to yourself. You deserve this. You do. And you don't have to work 24/7 to have it. You just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and saying no and putting boundaries on the stuff in your home that doesn't matter. Letting it go, man. Let it go. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.